Holy City Center Radio, it is episode 225, and I am your host, Christian Sanger. Today is Monday, February 19th, 2024. Got a nice, easy, relaxing Monday episode for you. No stressful news stories, no me railing against some politician and something dumb they've said or done. It's Monday. Let's get into this week, relaxing and having a good time. So we have a fun interview for you today. So you can just relax and not have to worry about anything that's going on in the news. I know it can be a little stressful sometimes with the stories I share, but today's a good one. I have an interview with Kathi Herrmann. She is the marketing director at Mount Pleasant Towne Center. I'm sure you're all very familiar with that shopping center over in Mount Pleasant. So some of you may be thinking, yeah, I know Mount Pleasant Towne Center. What are we talking about here? Well, it's going to be a good interview. We learn about a little bit about what exactly being a marketing director for such a unique property is like, working with so many different tenants within Mount Pleasant Towne Center. It's not just, hey, come here to this shopping plaza. It's working with them. And so it's interesting to learn about that. And even more interesting than that is hearing about the different events they have coming up, the ones that they've done for years that some of you may not know about. They actually do a lot throughout the year in terms of events and partnering with community organizations. There's some ones that you've probably heard of because they're pretty big and get a lot of play on social media, like the Pup Bowl that they do. Super Bowl weekend usually, where there's a bunch of dogs, puppies that are adoptable, and they have them with football toys and stuff, kind of like the puppy bowl you see on TV or what have you, and then they get all those dogs adopted, which is pretty great. So we talk about all that. We also talk about some of the newest tenants that have opened in that area recently, some of which I'm sure you're unaware of, and it is a variety. It's not just shopping. There's food, of course. There's beverages, restaurants. There's some workout-related properties, all sorts of stuff. So it's a really good interview, just learning about a little bit about the history, too, as it's about to celebrate its 25th birthday. That's right. Mount Pleasant Towne Center turning 25 this year. I believe Kathi said that first year was 1999. So it was interesting, in some ways that doesn't seem that long ago, but in other ways it very much is. So we talk a little bit about, the fact that they're celebrating that this year and what that means as far as events and for people in the community. So definitely a good interview. Like I said, something nice and relaxing to listen to today as you start your week. And I hope you have a great Monday. And of course, I'll get back to stressing you out with the latest news later in the week. But for now, enjoy the interview with Kathi Herrmann, marketing director at Mount Pleasant Towne Center. And as promised, joining me now is Kathi Herrmann. So excited to have her here. As I mentioned, she is the Mount Pleasant Towne Center marketing director. So we're going to talk a little bit about what she does, what's coming up. It should be a really good conversation, and I'm looking forward to it. Kathi, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Christian, thank you. I'm a big fan. So I'm excited to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. And I'm a fan of Mount Pleasant Towne Center. So you as the marketing director must be doing some good work. And obviously it's a destination for lots of folks. And we'll get to that in a moment. But real quick, just a little bit about yourself. People sometimes like to know, sure, I know this person works with this company, but just a short bio about yourself. If you're from here, if you moved here, anything like that.
Sure. Well, I've been the marketing director here at Towne Center just 8 years. February 1st was my 8-year anniversary here. And my husband and I moved here for this position. Although my entire career has been spent in shopping centers, I worked for, I'm not plugging them, Christian. I worked for a very large shopping center developer, one of the largest in the country, for almost 25 years.
Oh, wow.
Before I moved here. And the funny story was I had never had any intention. I'm from Long Island, New York, and I had no intention of ever moving. My husband was the one who really wanted to move, and I got a head email from a headhunter, and for the first time it said, Charleston, South Carolina. I said, well, maybe after all these years, I should finally think about it. And about 6 months later, I put my house on the market and I moved.
Wow, and I'm assuming you've been here for several years now. You are happy with that decision and enjoy being here.
I will. I don't. You couldn't pay me to move back. I love visiting. My whole family is
Of
there.
course.
I love to visit. My stepson just got married in October. That was a great trip home. But I know I'm here to stay, and I love Town Center. So they can't get rid of me there either.
So let's get into that then. Speaking of Town Center, you're the marketing director, which, I think people have a general idea of what folks in that position do, but it's different for every type of business. Marketing directors are across multiple industries. So for you specifically, what is like a typical day in the life for you as it relates to your job?
Well, the one thing I love about this job, and I think why I have been doing it for such a long time, is the variety of my days. You never have the same day twice. You can never plan your day, especially when you're working with the public. And that's what I love about it so much. Typical day, emails just like everybody else. Depending on what event I'm planning, that is takes up a lot of my time. We just did our Pup Bowl 7 a couple weeks ago with the Charleston Animal Society. An
Hmm.
amazing, amazing event. We can talk about that too, our partnerships with the community. But when I'm planning an event of that size, that takes up a lot of my day. I make sure I walk the shopping center. I try to do it twice a day, say hello to the store managers, talk to guests if I can, help out in any way. We're all a really big team here. And so the operations director as well, if I see something, I either fix it myself or make a note to have it fixed. We spend a lot of time doing advertising, promotion, social media, of course, budgeting, making sure that I don't go over budget. Typical things that you think of when it comes to marketing.
Sure. Yeah. And you mentioned, I mean, there's so many aspects to what you do. And yeah, we will definitely talk about some of the community events and giving back and all that. But before we get into that, this is a milestone year for Town Center. They are, I guess I should say, you all are celebrating the 25th birthday. So congratulations to you and everyone there. Still humming along and doing great. Any big plans that Town Center has for this milestone celebration?
Well, people can't believe it's been 25 years. And when you look back, I have to find some old pictures, Christian. I know I found for the 20th birthday, I did some research and I found all these pictures of what was here before Town Center. And so I have to find them again and resurface them and share, because there's been so many people who have moved here in the last 5 years as well, just to see what there was absolutely nothing here, and to see what's
Wow.
here now in 25 years to me is remarkable. But yeah, we opened our doors. Unfortunately, Bed Bath and Beyond, who's no longer here, was the first store to open.
Mm.
And so we laugh about that they're not here anymore. They're the first store to open in April of 1999, and it was Barnes and I'm sorry, Bed Bath and Beyond, Barnes and Noble, Old Navy were the first three stores to open their doors, and of course Barnes and Noble and Old Navy are still doing fantastic. But we've grown in so many different ways, not just physically, because there's been so many additions to the shopping center. The whole front half of Belk Drive is all new, and of course the R House and Ballard Designs, that was all added. The Belk Men's was added. The beautiful hotel we have was added. So there's been a physical change to the property, but also an immense change of, we are now the heart of the community, because 25 years ago, nobody wanted to drive all the way up here because it
Yeah,
was considered
right.
really, really, really far. And I know I've told the story before, but it rings true. This shopping center is never going to be successful. No one's ever going to shop there because it is way too far from Charleston. That was what was going on 25
Wow.
years ago. And now we are literally the middle of Mount Pleasant, right? Between Charleston
Right.
and Awendaw. I mean, we're right in the middle. So we've certainly grown with the community around us, and we will continue to grow.
Yeah, and I'm sure that shopping center opening helped drive growth in that area. And as you said, It's commonplace now. It's not a big deal to drive there from Charleston or anywhere else, that might be beyond Charleston even to get there. And there's so much going on. So it's crazy that back then people are like, no one's going to want to do this, and now it's just a normal day of life, and it's still busy day to day.
Right,
Uh,
and we've turned into the best. Of course, I'm saying this because it's my job, but I mean it. The best shopping center in the area, as far as I'm concerned, with all of the stores and restaurants we have to offer and the events that we do.
Yeah, I was
And
going to say a lot of variety of stores, but it's not just a shopping place. There's also events and community programs and things. So if you could talk about, well, let's start with the community first. Discuss the role that Town Center plays in the community in general.
Well, again, I just think that I have the ability, as the marketing director here, to use this property to not only benefit my tenants, of course, because right, Christian, that's my main job,
Of course, of
sales,
course.
sales, sales, but to be able to do it in a way that positively affects the community, to me, is a complete win-win. And so, for the last 8 years, I've started to implement these events that um, always have a charitable component involved in them, whether it's raising money or raising awareness. And I hope I can give you some examples if you don't mind. For
No, go right
instance,
ahead.
we do an event every year called Pink Promenade, which is a fundraiser for Roper St. Francis Foundation breast cancer programs.
Hmm.
And this event is it's a ticketed event. It's a very VIP event. 100% of ticket sales go to the foundation. We don't keep anything for ourselves. We pay for
Wow.
the event, and all of the models are breast cancer survivors. So this is like a gazillion fold good event for many reasons. One, raising money for a great foundation. Two, there's a shopping pass involved, so a lot of the attendees go shopping for discounts at the stores here, right? And then we have models who are breast cancer survivors who I cry because they feel so good. They're able to get out there and feel better about themselves and be treated like a queen that they deserve. And I love watching them walk on the runway. And then I get to feature my stores and the clothes that they wear. So, I mean, it's win, like I said, it's win, win, win. It's almost perfect. And I love that event, and that's a smaller one. And then you have something like Pup Bowl that we just did,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
We had about 400 and something people. Again, entry fee 100% donated to the Charleston Animal Society. And so we made money by ticket sales. We made money by adoptions. We made money by they had a retail area set up, and we had 21 dogs go to their forever homes that night. So
Oh,
again, we raised
amazing.
money. We got people their forever babies, their fur babies, and raised awareness all at the same time. So it's just really it feels very special to me. Those are the all those events that we do. I go home with a huge exhausted, but with a humongous smile, feeling I've really made a difference.
Yeah, I would imagine any event that has a charitable aspect to it, especially the two you highlighted. I'm sure any event, they're fun. It's a sense of satisfaction of completing it and making the community smile. But when there's that extra part to it, I'm sure it just makes it a little bit more special for you. And you mentioned those two. There's several other events people may be familiar with, such as Live Under the Oaks. They can hear live music, especially in the warmer weather, which is great. There's another animal related event, Paws on the Patio, where people can bring their pups and enjoy some food and drinks outside. There's an art fest. There is an event dedicated, if I remember correctly, to autism awareness called Lights and
Mhm.
Love. I mean, just so much going on throughout the year.
There really isn't, and I think I love the diversity of the events
Yes.
because there's animals, there's children, there's adults, there's beverages,
Yep.
there's
Yep.
food, there's costumes. So in the spring and the fall is our busiest season, of course, and so we do a free fitness series.
Hmm.
We're doing that every Wednesday in April this year in our park, and then we have the free concert series every Thursday in May, and then we'll bring them back in the fall. One you forgot too that we just started was our kids club. It's called Play Days,
Oh, okay.
and we started. This is our third year, and it's held on the first Tuesday of the month between 10 a.m. and noon on a Tuesday morning. And we did it because a couple of my friends in my neighborhood were complaining that there was nowhere to go with the younger kids while the other ones were in school, and also something that was affordable for them. So, of course, what do? We provide a free event for them. And we average over 200 children an event.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
wild. I wouldn't have thought that, but I mean, I guess it makes sense. All the other events are popular. Why wouldn't this one? But that's
right.
crazy. 200
Yeah.
kids at each of
Yes.
these. Wow.
Well, yeah, and the July and August ones, even though they are very, very warm, the July and August ones where the kids are out of school. Last August, we had 380 something children.
Wow, that's
But it
incredible.
doesn't seem like it. I don't want to scare anybody away.
No, no, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's actually pretty lovely, and again, it's free, and there's snacks, and so that was an event that literally was just created, Christian, because I heard my friends asking for one. So I was like,
Right.
oh, I have the ability, and how could it not help my shopping center? Because I'm bringing in these 200 kids plus their parents on a Tuesday morning before noon. So of course you look at the traffic
Right.
counters on a Tuesday morning compared to when I didn't have this club, and it's like night and day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely. And that's another testament to, listening to the community, finding a need, and then creating something for them, which is, when you think about being part of the community, you think about some of the charitable events you mentioned, but it's more than that. It's making fun things,
Right.
being a destination where people can, associate it with fun times and different events throughout the year, which is pretty great.
I love
Um,
hearing from people how they every year we do our tree lighting every year, lights
mhm.
up, and that's always the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And I've had people come up to me and just say, "This is the only way we ever want to start our holidays. We
Oh,
don't care
wow.
what's going on. We haven't missed this event in over 10 years." And again, that to me says, wow, I must be doing okay. I must be doing a good job if people continue, they want to keep coming back, and they've made something here at Town Center a part of their tradition. That to me is pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. That's got to be a great feeling, and again, the community appreciates it too. And we've been talking a lot about the community and giving back and the events and things, but as everyone knows, it's a shopping center. There's food as well. There's a movie theater. There's all sorts of things going on in there, and I'm sure a lot of people are already familiar with some of the stalwarts, the ones that have been there for years and years. But there's always new developments, or maybe some businesses have left for whatever reason and new ones are coming in. So what can you talk about? I know some stuff you might not be able to depending on the details, but what new things can people look forward to as it relates to tenants in that property?
Sure. Well, I have learned the old-fashioned hard way that I don't mention anything until the ink is dried on the lease.
Yeah, exactly.
And people understand that because if I could sit here and talk to you about so and so's coming, if they say the lease is going to be signed any minute, you know what's going to happen. Then the lease
Yeah,
is not going to be signed, and they're not coming.
absolutely.
Right. So I've learned that the hard way. I'm going to tell you about a couple new stores that are coming,
Sure.
but we've had before that we had some great stores that have recently opened. Everyone's talking about what was going in the old Atlanta bread space, right? That space was
Hmm.
vacant for almost 5 years.
Wow.
And Condado Tacos opened in November. They
Hmm.
are a margarita bar with a taco problem. That's the tagline, which is great.
Yep, yep.
So it is a taco bar. It's not a Mexican restaurant. It is a taco bar and a margarita bar. But that space, if you look at it from the perspective of the ownership group, no one wants a space vacant that long. But look at where that space was. That space was on the main drag, right across from all of our events. It already had outdoor patio seating, which every restaurant in Charleston wants. So I love working for an organization. My company's name is Continental Realty Corporation out of Baltimore. They purchased us in 2020. I love that they took their time to find the perfect fit, and that we didn't just give it away to anybody who wanted to open there.
Hmm. Hmm.
I find that very impressive, and it's worth it. It's worth the wait. So we're very excited about Condado being here. If you have not tried them yet, I highly recommend it. We also had a Jenny's ice cream open
Nice.
not
Yes.
that long ago, and people people are so happy they don't have to drive downtown anymore.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not even affecting their downtown sales because we all know people downtown are downtown, people here are here,
Right.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So they've recently opened. We also have an amazing kids store. Not many people know about it, and I need to spread the word. It's called Tweedle Beetle, and they are a local couple. They have a store here, and they have a store up in Somerville, and they've got the best kids clothing I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
So it's really, really, really awesome. So between them and Little Palmetto Pearl, which is another incredible children's store, you do not need to go anywhere else to go shopping for your kids. That's all I have to say for that. They're absolutely, absolutely amazing. So we're excited to have them all here. So right now we have two new stores that are already coming in that we're just about to announce. One is it's called Forever Young Aging Solutions. They will go over to a space next to Lens Crafters, in between
Okay.
Lens Crafters and Men's Warehouse. But we're very excited to have them. We think it's a really great use for that space over there. So we're excited to have them. And then we also have a new tenant called Mind Zero. They have a location that's in one location already in Myrtle Beach. So this will be their second one. They're opening across from Belk Men's in the old Sprint store. This is very interesting. It is a wellness studio. It's not for me, but I'm sure many of your listeners are going to be very excited about this. It is the whole sauna into a um, cold pool.
Oh, like a cold plunge?
Yes. So it's
Yes, yes.
120. You sit in a 120-degree sauna, and then you go sit into a 50
Yeah,
degree
yeah.
pool. Now, again, I've heard that it's life altering, right?
Right.
And that
Yeah,
it's
yep.
incredible. No, I'm not going, but I
I
am
hear you. I hear you
sure
there.
that but everyone I've talked to about it, they said, "Oh, you let me know as soon as they start, doing signups, because that's exactly what I'm looking for." And what a great use! It's so different. There's nothing else like it in the area, and so we're really excited to have them. We've been really blessed with a lot of unique stores and restaurants here that are not only unique to the Charleston region but to the state. Ballard Designs opened with it's the only one in the state of South Carolina at this time. Our Peloton studio is the only one in the state of South Carolina at this time. Our Burton's Grill, again, only one in the state of South Carolina. So, and there are quite a few more, especially even in the region too. Athleta and stores like such as that have been a great draw for us, and they bring people from all the different areas. I can't tell you how many of the moms that come to our kids club, Christian, are from Somerville, North Charleston, West Ashley, Johns
Oh, wow.
Island, because it's worth the ride, right? Because you
Yeah.
come and you have this great event and you spend the morning with your children, and then you go shopping or have lunch.
Yeah, and and part of the reason people probably don't mind traveling is kind of what you just related. Not just that there's great events and great stores, but it's you can spend so much time there and have what you need. Shop for a little bit. If you need food, you got it. If you need to take a break, and grab something to eat or drink, you can do that, and then get back to shopping. Maybe there's an event. And as you just mentioned, there's whether it's for you or not, there's some other things there like the cold plunge and everything. So a little bit
Yeah.
of something for everyone, and you can spend a long time there, so people don't mind the drive, I'm sure.
Right. And it's also the thing I love too, it's the mix, right? Let's talk
Hmm.
about the restaurants for a second. We've got a bunch of fast casual for a quick bite. And then we've got, the voted best Italian, Savvy Cucina, the best places
Mm-hmm.
in this entire town to get eggplant parmesan is at Savvy Cucina. So we go from grabbing a sandwich to having a fine dining experience. So depending on what you're in the mood for, if you're doing a day out with the kids or you're doing a date night, we've got everything from you to choose from. And if you haven't tried Malika, our Pakistani
Oh, yes, yes.
Pakistani restaurant, I mean, you're missing out. I mean, that is the only Pakistani restaurant in the area, except for their other Mam Saab
Yeah,
downtown.
downtown.
But if you have not tried it, you have no idea what you're missing. I
Oh, it's
am.
fantastic.
I mean, the food is just, and Raheel and Miriam, the owners, are just the nicest people in the world, and we're so happy that they picked here, that they picked Town Center to open up that concept.
Well, learned a lot about Mount Pleasant Town Center. I thought I knew all of it, but I learned a lot, and I'm sure the listeners learned even more. Something constantly going on, and there's always some new tenants that are popping up and new events being debuted and things. Where can people find more information going forward?
Our website, mountpleasanttowncenter.com, is a great place to start. We also have very active social media on Facebook and on Instagram at Shop MPTC. You'll always find what's going on with events and new store openings, grand openings, schedule things. So if you want to make sure you don't miss anything at all, I would do all three.
Good idea. I appreciate you so much coming on today, and it was great talking with you. And is there anything we missed? Maybe something coming up, or is there anything that you need to highlight that we haven't?
Well, I want to go back to the birthday for a second.
Sure.
We'll keep an eye out. The birthday celebration will be sometime in April. What exactly that is yet, I'm not sure. I'm hoping it involves some specials from the tenants, and of course some giveaways. So we'll be starting to promote that soon. But I just want to celebrate. I mean, I'm going to say happy birthday to myself every day, I think.
And of course, in addition to being able to find that information on the website and social media that you mentioned, you also do a good job of getting the information out to local media. So you can also go to my website. I tend to post all these things that are going on, so you can find information on events, store openings, and such on my website as well. For those listening, there's all sorts of ways to stay up to date on what's going on in Mount Pleasant Town Center. Kathi Herrmann, marketing director there. Thank you so much again for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Christian, you've been such a great partner. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk about what I love.
That'll do it for this Monday edition of Holy City Center Radio. Thank you so much for listening. And again, a big thank you to Kathi Herrmann, marketing director with Mount Pleasant Town Center, for stopping by the show. It's been nice to have some interviews going this year. We've got a couple under our belt, some more coming up in the future. Getting back to not just talking about the news, but also speaking with people in the community. I always enjoy getting people's stories out there, or stories about businesses. And I always learn something in those interviews. Even if I think I know a person or a property or a restaurant or whatever it is, you always end up learning something more. So always happy to have those interviews, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening. You know the routine. If you can rate and review, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, that helps out the podcast. You can also go to patreon.com/Holy City Center and sign up for one of those support tiers. That just helps offset some costs of websites and podcasting fees and all that good stuff. I've already doled out some thank yous, but I got two more to go, and you know them. Lindsay Marie Collins with LMC Sound System. She produces each and every episode. Thank you so much to her. And a big thank you to Tyler Boone as well, whose music you hear in each and every episode. I'll talk to you all again on Wednesday. Until then, good night and good luck.